Hi, I'm Jan Daniel Lancaster, Superintendent of Catholic Schools for the Archdiocese of New Orleans. Welcome to Our Schools, Our Future. This month's episode will feature Dr. Raynell Houston, the new Associate Superintendent of Catholic Schools, and she will give us some information on the Common Core curriculum which we will be implementing in our schools. We also have Brother Gail Condent, who's going to tell us about some exciting initiatives that are happening at Rummel. And then finally, we have Sarah McDonald, the Communications Director of the Archdiocese of New Orleans, who will give us an update on the strategic plan. Once again, thank you for joining us tonight, and we will be right back.
We never forget our best teachers, the ones who do so much more than teach. They inspire and insist we bring our best in everything we do. We find those mentors in our Catholic schools. It's why Catholic school graduates consistently go on to college, land better jobs, embrace faith, and lead. Louisiana Catholic Schools, in a class of their own.
Imagine America's largest stage, dark. Or the nation's biggest schoolhouse, empty. Or the greatest library of documentary programming, closed forever. It could happen if funding for PBS is eliminated. Find out more about the threat to PBS at 170millionamericans.org.
Welcome back. I'm here today with Dr. Raynell Houston, one of the new Associate Superintendents in the Office of Catholic Schools. Raynell, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You know, we are so excited to have you in our office.
Thank you.
And you have been, you came on board as a curriculum specialist, and you're helping our schools roll out the Common Core curriculum.
Yes.
And you've been to a lot of schools visiting, and I'm hearing wonderful things.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you've done when you've gone to the schools?
Okay, as you know, the Common Core is a national initiative. 45 states and 3 territories have adopted the standards. We will be implementing the standards over the next few years, starting with math and continuing with the English language arts standards. I have been to several schools, and they have been so receptive and excited about moving forward with this initiative and curriculum.
Well, you know, I think what I know about the Common Core and what I like about it is that it really is data-driven.
Yes.
And it's aligned with the ACT.
Yes.
So it helps prepare students for when they're going to college and taking the ACT.
Yes, the Common Core standards are rooted in college and career readiness anchor standards so that students are better prepared for college and for the workforce when they leave our schools. And some of the major shifts that we'll see in the classroom, we'll see more higher order thinking, more application of skills, more real world, real life application for our students.
You know, coming on as superintendent, what I wanted to ensure is that all of our schools are authentically Catholic.
Yes.
Constantly striving for academic excellence and accessible to anyone who wants a Catholic education. And what I like about the Common Core, and what I like about you and Dr. Maloney working together, and we'll get to that in a minute, but I like that we're using data-driven decision making.
Yes.
We're looking at our test scores, we're looking at where we need to improve, we're talking to the principals, and that really, I think, is a wonderful thing for our schools, and that piece of academic excellence.
Yes.
And as I said a little while ago, Dr. Rebecca Maloney also has come on board as a curriculum expert.
Yes.
Could you tell a little bit about that partnership?
Yes, Dr. Maloney will be working with high schools and middle schools. I'll be working with elementary and middle schools. So together we are the dynamic duo. We are a team that will collaborate to make sure that there's a seamless transition and integration as we begin the implementation of the standards.
Now, as you've gone to the schools, how have the principals reacted, and what have they said both on the elementary and high school level?
They're very excited. We have a number of schools, a small number of schools, who have already embarked upon the implementation of Common Core because they felt it was the right thing to do for their kids to give them the education that they need to be prepared in the 21st century. So we have some schools that are taking some leadership, and it's awesome that they can share those experiences with their colleagues. Yes.
What I like also is through sharing the experiences with the colleagues, it allows our principals to talk to each other and really share craft knowledge and best practices. And when I see that happening in our family of schools, it makes me realize that we really are working together to come together as one family of schools to offer the very best we can of education embedded in our Catholic faith.
Yes.
And speaking of our Catholic faith, you have worked in Catholic schools. You've worked at Our Lady of Holy Cross College.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Well, I started my career in public schools teaching elementary and middle school, and then I was getting a little complacent and praying for God to provide some opportunity for me to advance my career. There was an ad in the paper for a position at Our Lady of Holy Cross College, and I said to my husband, "Do you think I should apply for this?" And he said, "Of course." And I said, "No, I'm not going to apply. They want someone with more experience." So he, unbeknownst to me, sent my resume in.
Oh, really?
Yes. I didn't tell you the story.
No,
Sorry.
I don't know this.
Yes. So he sent my resume in. I got a call for an interview, and Dr. Judy Moranci was the dean at the time. She hired me. So that's how I started at Our Lady of Holy Cross College. God opened that door, and he put me there for a reason.
Well, having worked with you at Our Lady of Holy Cross College, I was thrilled when I got your resume and when you applied to our office when the positions opened last year. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
God again. I had left Our Lady of Holy Cross to pursue a full-time teaching opportunity at Southeastern, and I loved it there. But what I found was missing was the opportunity to minister to my students and to fellowship with my colleagues. And when I became aware of the opening in the Office of Catholic Schools, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity for me to serve my church and to contribute to the field of education at the same time.
And you know, working with you before, like I said, I'm just so thrilled that you decided to come to the Office of Catholic Schools. And as I talk to principals, they're so impressed. They appreciate the service that you give and really the spirit of servant leadership that you are offering our schools, the assistance and the help with this new initiative.
Well, the principals are truly inspiring to me. When I see all that they do,
they work hard.
All that they do, it inspires me to work even harder to help them and to help their teachers to be the best that they can be for their students.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's almost time for us to wind down, but before we leave, is there anything that you would like to add or that you would like to say?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here again, and I am so enjoying my time in the Office of Catholic Schools. We have an awesome team of professionals, of experts who are working very hard to provide the best for the children of New Orleans. So thank you for that opportunity.
And you know, what I have found, just what you said, we really are working as a team. We're working with other offices in the Archdiocese to offer the very best we can in Catholic education. And then also, and I say this a lot because it's so true, we're so lucky are so blessed to have this Archbishop leading us right now in the Archdiocese. And I think we see that firsthand, just how involved he is in Catholic education and with all the ministries in the Catholic Church.
And the fact that Catholic education means so much to him and that he's doing everything that he can to support it, that it is here for the future for all of our children. So we appreciate that.
Oh, definitely. But I just want to thank you again for coming on board in the Office of Catholic Schools, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
And we will be right back where we will hear some exciting things happening at Archbishop Brummel High School.
What will the world ask of them? Whatever it is, they'll be prepared to answer. Because in a safe and disciplined environment, Louisiana Catholic schools shape tomorrow's leaders. Catholic students are rising. 99% graduate. Almost all go to college. They'll earn higher wages, be community involved, more tolerant of diverse views. And the world will be better because of them. Louisiana Catholic schools, in a class of their own.
Business Report with Susie Garib and Tom Hudson.
Weeknights at 5:30 p.m. on LAE.
We're here today with Brother Gail Condon, the president of Rummel High School. Thank you so much, Brother Gail, for being with us today.
Well, Jan, thank you for inviting me, and I beg your pardon for my voice. I'm having a little problem with my throat, but hopefully I can be clear in what I say.
Well, we want to hear all about Rummel, so I hope you can be clear. We're very excited about you being here, and this is like your third time being at Rummel. Is that
well,
correct?
I hate to tell you, it's my fourth time.
Your fourth time.
Time flies. I can't believe it myself, but I find that I'm back, as you will, I might say, I'm back home. A lot that I've experienced since I've been back reminds me so much of the early days. Actually, I was there as early as 1965, and I just feel it's an honor for me to be able to be back, because I remember so many of my fellow Christian brothers who gave so much to so many, and I never thought until the Lord made it clear to me that I would be back again for the fourth time.
And we are thrilled. And when I saw that Clarion Herald and it said "Back to the Future" with your picture there, you could just see everybody with smiles on their faces when it was announced that you were the new president. And I must say, as we were going through this, and as we know the Archbishop personally asked you to come on board as president, but so many people came up to me, "Brother Gail, perfect person. You couldn't have made a better choice. This is great." So the whole community, there was just a spirit there, and that's what I see. Mike Scalco has mentioned it. So many people have come up and said it's just a new day at Rummel. Could you tell us just some of the things that you've done to incorporate that new spirit that we feel?
Well, first off, I have made some time to get to know people. There are a number of new faculty members that were not there the last time I was at Rummel, so I wanted to introduce myself to each of them and get to know a little bit about them as well. I think developing relationships is so important in life, and especially in the workplace as well. And frankly, in terms of relationships, I feel that they are quite strong at Rummel. There's a great spirit there. There really is. Of course, they titled it Raider Pride, and it shows up in everything. It's quite exciting.
Well, that's wonderful. And also, we had talked about a new initiative that you all are embarking concerning an engineering track or some different things. You mentioned this to me. If we could talk about that a little bit. Sure,
Jan. At the present time, Rummel is looking into 3 new courses. Each of these 3 courses is a 4-year track titled Pre-Law, and it starts in the 9th grade, and there's a different course each year. Actually, the 4th year, the senior year, is a course in forensics, and we're already working to put this puzzle together, if you will, for next year. We're going to be working closely with a number of the legal offices in the city, and we're very happy about that, because they're going to be able to offer us so much beyond the classroom to give our students a much greater understanding of what law is all about. We're looking into biomedical as well, and I'm also in dialogue at the present time with Dr. Mark Peters, the CEO of East Jefferson Hospital. And what happens in each of these cases, the students at Rummel will take an academic course pertaining to that topic, but we're going to complement that academic instruction by some field work, if you will. But it's going to be a rather elaborate kind of field work that would show a lot of thought and preparation. And all of these 3 courses will be quite demanding academically. As some people say, these kinds of courses are hands-on courses, and that's really preparing the young people even better for their future. The other course that I need to mention in brief is the pre-engineering, where students will study some of the fundamentals of engineering and architecture and so forth. And like the other 2 courses, this will start in the 9th grade as well. And so we're very happy about this, and I think it's time we do this because we're living truly in a changing world, and we must make sure that our young people today are properly prepared for that future.
And you know, not only that, but it also develops a love of learning because they're able to tap into their interest at a very early age.
Absolutely.
And that will also help them to see if that's truly what they want to do for the rest of their lives and if that interest is there.
And you might say it's a win-win either way, because after, let's say, 4 years in any one of these 3 courses, the individual says, well, now that I've taken all these courses, I don't think it's what I thought it was. Well, that's fine. It's a win for him. Many times students graduate from high school and go on into college, and oftentimes their 3rd and 4th year, even while they've declared a major, they're not really sure if that's what they want to do or not. So courses like this, we think, are going to help to solve part of that problem. And we hope, frankly, in all cases, that when the young man graduates as a senior at Rummel in one of these particular courses that we speak of, he'll be much more oriented towards future study in those areas.
Well, it seems like it. I mean, it seems like, just like I said, a wonderful initiative which allows each child to grow and individualizes so much for the child to pick out what their interests are and what they want to study. So that is a very creative initiative.
Well, thank you, and we believe that as well. And I might say that in all Christian Brothers schools, we don't emphasize so much the word location, location, location. It's more the word of integration, integration, integration. And by that I mean, you know, we're merging in academics with spiritual values as well. Because as you know, Christian Brothers bring 332 years of tradition of running schools. In fact, today we have 54 high schools in the United States from coast to coast, and a total of, I think it's 900 schools throughout 84 countries of the world. And frankly, the brothers throughout the world are sharing a lot more with each other. And in doing so, one school will discover something that could be helpful to another. And by getting that information, it enriches, you know, what you're already doing. So there's a lot of fellowship and networking going on today, more than ever, between Christian Brother schools.
It's wonderful having the Christian Brother presence back at Rummel.
Well, thank you. It's good to be back. Brother Michael Livaday, he's also a Christian Brother at Rummel, and he's presently teaching fine arts classes at Rummel. He's a very creative-minded person, and actually he was in the first graduating class at Rummel.
Oh, and you know, on that same note, and we have to go in a minute, but I want to bring up a tidbit that people might not realize. You actually taught Mike Scalco, is that correct?
Yes, I think my age is catching up with me, but this is true. And there are a few others, I will not mention their names, that I've taught as well. But I thank God that I'm still at the moment healthy and able to get around as I want to do and do whatever I can while I can for the boys entrusted to my care.
I don't know if the students know that you taught Mr. Scalco, but now they do. I'll let the cat out of the bag on that one. But we thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Jan, for inviting me.
Well, we're glad you were able to be here. And like I said, there are some wonderful, exciting new initiatives going on at Rummel. And when I've gone by to see Rummel, the spirit is there. So thank you for serving in this ministry and coming back to Rummel. Welcome back to the future.
Thank you very much.
And we will be right back with Sarah McDonald, Communications Director of the Archdiocese, with an update on the strategic plan.
It's happening in schools and schoolyards. A timeless tradition is rekindled with every new class, in every new face. In Louisiana Catholic schools, learning goes beyond textbooks and testing. Students are embracing faith, values, leadership skills, and of course, a classic history of academic excellence. Invest in success. Louisiana Catholic schools, a class of their own.
Welcome back. Today I have with us Sarah McDonald, Communications Director for the Archdiocese of New Orleans, and she's here to ask some questions about the strategic plan. Thank you, Sarah, so much for being here.
Well, I'm always happy to be with you, and it's always good. I like the opportunity to be able to share some of the questions that my office, and I know your office, receives, particularly in regards to the strategic plan.
Well, ask away. We're ready to get the answers out there.
Very good. Well, one of the questions that has definitely come into my office has been about grade level structure. There's been a lot of discussion as we've worked through the strategic plan about what exactly is grade level structure and what are we doing about it, so to speak. So can you explain what we're talking about when we say we're looking at the grade level structure of our schools?
Well, basically, to answer the question, it's just through the years, schools have started at different grade levels. Some schools start in 5th, some 6th, some 7th, some 8th, and some schools start in 9th grade. So we're looking at our family of schools to see what best meets the needs for our students. And that is the most important factor in all of this. The way we can best offer a Catholic education embedded in academic excellence. And so as we look at this, that's what we're trying to do. So we're using data research, data-driven decisions to determine when is it best for a child to start a school. But we know that it's difficult for a child when kids are leaving at one grade level and leaving at another grade level. It makes it difficult to really have a curriculum that is seamless. And so we want to make sure that everything we do is in the best interest of the children. So we're looking at our family of schools to see where our school, at what grade level should schools start, what grade levels should schools stop, and how we can work that into our whole family of schools.
And the idea is that it would, number one, help the schools, well, number one, help the child with their transitions, but number two, help the administrators and teachers at schools plan their curriculums, their finances on both levels, on the elementary and secondary school level.
Exactly, exactly.
So you have had a lot of input on, we're going to talk about the models that have been developed, but you've had a lot of input from clergy, at school administrators. Talk to us about that process.
Well, for years, ever since I have been in Catholic education as a principal, people have talked about the grade level structure and the need for us to come together. So as superintendent, I'm excited to see the conversations that have taken place. And as I've talked to principals throughout the Archdiocese, they see the need for us to look at this situation and see what we can do to make it better. As the last couple of years with the strategic plan as we've gone through the process, a lot of our principals have given what they think is the best structure. But what's interesting about it, I can honestly say, the principals, in talking to them, they have really put on the point of view from the whole Archdiocese and the family of schools. So through those conversations, both on the elementary and high school level, we've had a lot of input. As a matter of fact, some of our principals have even taken the time to put what they think is a whole plan for grade level structure. We had different groups of principals come together. We have a superintendent's advisory council that has come together and offered some suggestions with grade level structure. So we also have had several clergy email us with ideas and thoughts. It's been an exciting process, but it really has been a collaborative, comprehensive process. And what I like the most about it, and as you know with this Archbishop, transparency is so important. So what I like about it is that when people have had questions, they could call and ask those questions, just like we're doing today, so that people know where we are all along. I've also had a lot of input from parents that have called, and as they know that this topic is out there and open for discussion, they've called. I've gotten emails, they've given their input. So I think the dialogue is such an important part of the process, and it served us well, because now we have 4 models that we're going to send to the clergy and to the administrators. As a matter of fact, they've already received it. And then it's also going to be posted on our website for parents to view. Right. So I think just once again, another step in letting people know where we are, what we're thinking, and where we're going.
And you mentioned the models, and I want to talk about those because that's what people are really interested in. Models number 1 and 2 are very basic, kind of simplified. Tell us about what those models would look like for our family of schools.
Well, basically, models 1, 2, and 3 are pretty much pretty basic as far as Model 1 talks about K through 8th on the elementary level, and then 9 through 12. And the the second model is well, pre-K actually,
Right.
through 7th, and then 8th through 12th. And the third model is pre-K through 6th, with 7th and 8th going to the high schools as a middle school concept. And then the high school would really be 7th through 12th, with that middle school being on the high school campus. So we're looking at those 3 models. And of course, we have our pre-K through 12 schools,
Sure.
which is a structure which has been part of the Archdiocese since the
the
very
beginning
beginning.
of Catholic
So
education.
of course that model is in place, and that model is going to stay as well.
And we do want to point out, we have very successful schools here
Very
in the
successful
Archdiocese.
schools.
Our Catholic schools are top-notch. We expect high standards, and they've delivered.
Right, right. 99% of our students graduate to go on to college and university. So, I mean, that says it right there.
Very good. The fourth model gets a little bit more complicated, but opens up a lot of opportunities, a lot of options for schools and for parents. Can you?
Well, what we did with the last model is we tried to look at all the individual differences at the same time, trying to keep the integrity of our family of schools. So we have the pre-K through 7th option. Then we also put the option in there for regional schools, such as clustering. So that's something that we really want to investigate and leave open to principals to possibly implement. And then also we realize that some of the civil parishes in the Archdiocese have a middle school that is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So while the graduating year in the Archdiocese would be 7th grade, so we can have the class of whatever, and it would be in 7th grade, it does allow the opportunity for some of our schools to still have 8th grade if the civil parish is a middle school that's 6th, 7th, and 8th. And that way, students who are going on to the civil parish for schools, for public high school, would have access to an 8th grade Catholic education. So, you know, we're looking at that, and I'm excited about this opportunity and the input we have, and I want to see what people feel, how they feel about these models, and what they believe is the best to lead our schools. And you know, Sarah, it's almost time for us to. It went so quickly.
It went so quickly,
but,
as always does. And you want parents to know, obviously, things that concern them. They can always contact you, whether it be the formation, the education, the finances. You're open to those questions.
I am, and I'd also say this: if you hear something and you're wondering what's going on, please either email me or call me, because I want to make sure people have the accurate information. What we always want to remember, we want to make sure that you know what's going on. If you have any questions, you feel they're answered, and if you don't have the answers, you pick up the phone and feel comfortable to call. We really are committed to being a family of schools that are authentically Catholic, constantly striving for academic excellence and being accessible to anyone who wants a Catholic education.
Thank you so much for answering my questions and for having me here on the show.
Well, we're going to have you back again, because I think
sure.
the strategic plan implementation is going to be over a period of years as we implement different components of the strategic plan. So I thank you for taking the time to be here, and I look forward to seeing you again on our show real soon.
You're very welcome. Thanks, Jan.
And I also want to thank you for joining us tonight. And I want to thank WLAE for giving us this opportunity to let people know about the exciting things that are going on in our schools. Please join us again next month for another episode of Our Schools, Our Future.